Thank you. Oh, thank you. Oh, I do not need it. Thank you. So hello, everyone. I'm Winnie Lee from Appier. Very happy to be here today with all of you and have the opportunity to share what we have learned in the journey of building and founding Appier. So I guess not many of you know that actually the founding team of Appier is formed by engineers and scientists purely. And so back in the days when Chihan and Joe, our CEO and CTO, were brainstorming about all kinds of AI ideas in their dorm room back in Harvard, to be very frank with you, none of us at that point had any idea of how to build a business or even have no idea how to run a business. So at the time, all we knew is that we wanted to use AI to make people's life easier and happier. So that's how we started. But to be even more frank with you, AI back in the days when we started founding the company, it was not a hot topic like it is nowadays. And the reason why we picked to build an AI company so many years ago was because that's what we knew that we would be very good at. And so from the very beginning, we knew if we want to become the best company in the field we work on, then we need to be making sure that we are leveraging the strengths, the key strengths of our team. So that was the reason why we decided to pursue an AI direction. Chihan, our CEO, had more than 10 years of AI experience before founding Appier, while our CTO, Joe, was a very talented system engineer, and his passion was building large-scale systems. So from day one, we knew if we want to be really successful, then we need to be building a large-scale AI system. But in which direction we should be applying our AI technology into, that we did not know back then. So along the way, while we were exploring, I believe, just like a lot of you in the audience, there are a lot of challenges that we have faced, and from how to find the right product market fit to how to grow a business after you finally build a right product. So everything that we have encountered, we overcome them as we bump into different challenges. And now today, among all the lessons that we have learned from our journey, we would love to share 5 of the key lessons with all of you and hope it will be helpful to you at some point in your journey as well. So the first one, answer the right question. So the key lesson to learn is that we always need to be asking ourselves, are we building the right product that is fulfilling a real need for your clients? That's the first key. And the second is to embrace failure. There are a lot of lessons that you can learn from failures. And third, always be pitching. We want you to remember that you always need to be ready because you never know when an opportunity will come, present itself. And fourth, if you want to build a great company, I believe all of you do, then you need to be thinking big and think global from the very beginning. And fifth, but not the least, you need to be hiring globally. I believe all of you understand how important a team is to the success of a company. So hiring the right people, hiring for the diversity is also very key. And so before going into the lesson 1, I want to give a very quick background on what Appier is and what we do. So Appier is a technology company that makes it easy for business to utilize artificial intelligence to grow and succeed in this current cross-screen era. And we have been very focusing on building AI products to help all the business to solve different data problems and challenges they face across different industries. And one of the key technology that we have built in the past few years is called cross-screen technology, which we use AI to predict what are the devices owned by the same person, and of course anonymously. And on top of that, we try to understand how each individual is interacting with all the devices he or she owns, and how she interacts with them. And on top of that, we build our marketing solutions as well as various business intelligence solutions to help the business, our customers, to utilize their own data and make better predictions for different business decision-making needs. And so nowadays, all of us do agree that we are living in a post-mobile cross-screen era. So it seems very clear that because all of us are moving around between different devices, different smart devices you own, from mobile phone to tablets to PC and laptops, and some of us even have smartwatches. So for us, right now, it seems so obvious that we are tackling this such important question. But back then, when we all started a few years ago, it was definitely not clear at all to us what we should be building. So that leads us to the key lesson 1 that we have learned: how to answer the right question. So as I mentioned earlier, we started as a pure engineering team, as a scientist team, basically. And all of us came from academia straight when we founded the company. So none of us know how to find the right product market fit. We don't even know what that really means. All we wanted to do back then was to build really cool technology that we will feel proud of. Of course, today, we still wanted to feel proud of everything that we built. As a tech company, we always want to hold pride for the products that we build. But more importantly is how we learned this lesson. So back in the days when we started this company, just to give a little historical background, at that time, Facebook became quite popular globally. Also, social gaming was quite popular back in the days when we started. So for us, as I shared earlier, all we wanted to build is large-scale AI systems. So we thought, okay, it might be a good idea that let's build an AI-empowered game, social games. So I'm not going into details on what exactly that game is, but just want to share with you that that's a reasonable game. So we have a number of good users who provide us actually a lot of feedbacks. But the shocking fact that we learned was that among all the feedback that we receive, only one out of all the feedback that we receive, one person recognized that there is an AI component within the game, which the AI component at the time when we designed the game, we thought it was going to be the killer component. But in the end, from the market feedback, obviously it wasn't important to the users. So that was shocking to us. And that made us start thinking, what is really important for your clients? Of course, we still want to build cool technology today, but we know very firmly from the bottom of our heart, the cool technology, when we build it, we need to make sure we are solving a very important question for the users or the market. Then this cool technology will turn into a valuable business. So that's the first lesson that we learned, and I think we are fortunate that we learned this key lesson very early on in our journey. So we are able to be focusing on looking for the right opportunities. But as I just said, even if we were very fortunate to learn that important lesson really early on in our first product, but it doesn't guarantee us a smooth sailing after that. So after that, we have went through 8 different pivots. So I have never, so far, even till today, I've never met a team that have failed more times than we did, or pivoted more times than we did. So when I said it's pivots, it's because, of course, those products were obvious failed products. They were failed for different reasons. Some of them doesn't have the right product market fit. Some of them, the timing that we launched it was wrong. Some of them, purely it was going after a too niche of a market. So for all the various reasons that we failed, but we call it pivot because from each pivot that we have we have tried, we actually gain very valuable experience and lessons from those pivots. So those pivots and the experience we gain led us to the Appier today, as well as the products we have today. So please remember to embrace and learn from the failures, because without being open to all the risk and failures, all the bold, great, innovative ideas will never happen and will never be able to take off. And third, always be pitching. So it seems very obvious, right? But we just want to emphasize again because it is really important. You want to be always ready. So whenever an opportunity comes knocking on your door, you are ready to grab it and hold on to it tight. So just to give you some reference points. So nowadays we are backed by a lot of great investors. We are very fortunate, including Jeffco, Sequoia Capital. And Sequoia Capital is our first institutional investor. And the story and the first encounter that we had with Sequoia was actually a pure accident. And that is the reason why I want to stress how important it is to always be ready. So this is a little story back like around like 4 years ago. So 4 years ago, after we launched this current platform, the business started growing. Then we started wanting to grow into other new markets. So Singapore was our first stop. So we started interviewing quite a few candidates in Singapore. And in one of the interview trips, we bumped into one of the Sequoia partners in Singapore, in the co-work space, in the elevator that we were at. And it's literally an elevator pitch. We were chatting, so the Sequoia partner asked us in the elevator what we did, and also asked us, told us that there are a couple of startups that are pitching to them on the date. So they asked us if we wanted to join. And we told them, frankly, at the point, because we were not seeking for funding opportunities. So we didn't have a pitch deck. But in the end, we decided to go in with our sales deck at the time. So luckily, we were able to form the partnership that we have today. But just want to share this story with you to let you know how important it is. Always be ready. So whenever there is a great opportunity come knocking on your door, you can just take it. And I think all of us, if you are starting up a company, I believe you are going after a very big dream. So having the mindset of think big and think global from day one is very important. And as a startup company coming from Taiwan, the advantage and disadvantage is the same thing to us. So the disadvantage being that we are from a very small island. So we don't have a very big home market. So naturally, if we want to grow from day one, we need to be thinking global. So that's the mindset we have from day one. And that's the advantage that we think that we have compared to a lot of companies, a lot of startups that, who have the luxury to have a bigger home market. So this is in our DNA nowadays. We build the team in the direction to scale globally from day one, from the very beginning. And nowadays, in the past few years, with all the efforts and teamwork from our colleagues, now we have more than 200 people across 12 cities in Asia. So that's this key lesson that we want to share with you, to have the right mindset early on. And this brings us to the last point that I wanted to make, which is to hire globally. And as I mentioned very early, that having the right team is probably the most important thing in your startup journey. Once you have the right team, you will be able to build the right product, and then you will have the right business. But how to build a right team? I think there are two points I want to make here. One is that, of course, we are just like all of you. We try to hire self-driven, open-minded, and people who are very capable of problem solving. Those are the good qualities everyone is looking for. But at the same time, there's one point that we always remind ourselves, which is to hire for diversity. Because no one is perfect. All of us have our weakness and strength. But how to build a team that could be the strongest all together, I think having the right diversity is very important. So if you have the right diversity in terms of skill sets, nationality, culture, or personality within your team, then if you have a very strong trust within your team, this way you will be able to build the strongest team ever. So that's our belief, and that's what we have been pursuing, and this remains still very true for us till today. And the second point I want to make is that after you have and build a very driven and capable team, a global team, then the next thing you need to do is make sure that you enable them, you empower them. You empower them to take the lead, to be open to trying new things and challenge themselves all the time, and not afraid of making mistakes, and being able to learn from the mistakes that they made, and then continue to grow from there. So this is also very key to the success of your business. So in conclusion, I think with everything that I just shared, those are the key points that we think are important. But in the end of the day, we also understand deeply that each startup's journey is going to be very different. So please remember what kind of team you want to build and which big questions you want to answer, and always have the right mindset, and always be ready when the opportunities come to you. And then last but not the least, good luck to everyone in your journey. And I think I have shared everything I have today, and I'm happy to take any questions you might have at Slush Cafe later. Thank you.